Chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the Education and Recreation Committee, Public Safety Committee work session and council meeting on May the 10th.
So moved.
Second.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to approve the minutes.
Chair will entertain a motion to ratify payment of the accounts for the week of May the 6th through the 12th.
So moved.
Second.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to ratify payment of the accounts.
Since there's nobody here from the mayor's office, or is there? No, I don't guess we have any proclamations today. There you go.
Yes, he has a handful.
You got a proclamation, you better.
Two of them. You're going to have to cut the gossip.
We waited on you 10 minutes.
He blamed me, Mayor, he blamed me.
First, I need Mr. John Costa, DHR, Joe Battles, and Council on Aging. Come up, please. Veronica Doremus, okay, and you. I have a proclamation. Whereas the President of the United States has designated May as Older Americans Month and National Physical Fitness and Sports Month, it is appropriate to honor our mature citizens for their many contributions to the vitality and strength of our community. The United States Surgeon General has determined that regular physical activity results in significant health benefits and improved quality of life for older adults. All older adults can participate in activities that improve and maintain their health. Therefore, be it resolved, I, Sherman Guyton, as Mayor of the City of Gadsden, by virtue of the authority vested in me, do hereby proclaim the month of May as Older Americans Month in the City of Gadsden, and urge all citizens to support the efforts of local organizations that encourage older adults to enhance their lives through physical activity. Would you like to say a few words, Mayor? Come on, Mr.
Mr. Costa had another meeting this morning, so I'm filling in for him. But on behalf of the Department of Human Resources and all of the agencies that work with the elderly and all of our senior citizens in Gadsden and in Alabama and in America, just want to thank you all for recognizing the work that the senior citizens do, that they have done and that they continue to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you want to talk, Joe?
Well, if you don't mind. I was going to go ahead and step off stage to keep you all from going to sleep from my boring talk. However, I want to let you all know that the Council on Aging, we received a grant back in October to start an elder abuse coalition. This coalition came about from a conversation with John Costa pertaining to the elder abuse in Etowah County. John told me back in September that elder abuse in Etowah County, we ranked second in the DHR reports, only behind Jefferson County. No other county received more reports about elder abuse than Etowah. And that was shocking to me. To be a resident of Etowah County, I thought, well, surely we'd be last, but instead we're among the top. We started a coalition. It's called HELP, Helping Elders Live Protected. This month, on May 27th, we're going to have the president for the National Council on the Prevention of Elder Abuse, Miss Betty Mitchell. She will be coming and give a seminar to professionals. It'll be at DHR building over on Hope Street. It's not open to the public just due to the fact that we don't have enough seating to allow everyone to come in. On June 15th, though, we are going to have another seminar that is open to the public. And if you come, you'll get to hear Mr. Williams come talk and Mayor Guyton, as well as Robin James. And Robin James is with the SHIP program, State Health Insurance Assistance Program. And we'd love to have anyone to come join us that would like to be there on June 15th from 9 to 1. It'll be at the Senior Activity Building on Broad Street. That's 623 Broad Street. Again, thank you for claiming this Elder Americans Month.
Over the years, and I won't say how many years I was in the real estate business, but over the years, I've seen a lot of situations that everybody who has older parents or grandparents need to be aware. A lot of times, they want to get a roof put on, or some siding, or get a driveway paved, and people come out who are con men or women, and they tell them they have to be paid up front. They give them $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $12,000, never hear from them again. They don't come back and do that. I've seen that so many times in the real estate business when I was, especially doing appraisal work. So everybody needs to be, and I also try to get, you get all these telephone calls where they try to get your check account number or your social security card or whatever. It's just amazing how much of that goes on. As well as, I know of one instance, a lady lives in some apartments, and she's got 3 or 4 children here in Etowah County who are all adults, and the people in the apartments surround the lady, take care of her. The kids never come see her. Mm-hmm. So there's just so many things like that out there that we need to be aware of as a community. I have one other proclamation. Rebecca Weber. Would you come up, please, ma'am? How are you? Good to see you. I will tell you, this lady makes the best pecan pies in this city. Excuse me. The family serving as the primary source of love, identity, self-esteem, and support is the very foundation of our communities and our state. In Gadsden, Alabama, and Etowah County, there are over 200 children and youth in foster care being provided with a safe, secure, stable home, along with the compassion and nurture of a foster family. Foster families will open their homes and hearts and offer help to children whose families are in crisis. They play a vital role in helping children and families heal and reconnect and launching children into a successful adulthood. Dedicated foster families frequently adopt foster children, resulting in a greater need for more foster families. There are numerous individuals, public and private organizations, who work to increase public awareness of the needs of children and leaving foster care, as well as the enduring and valuable contribution of foster parents. And the foster parents' care system is only as good as those who choose to be part of it. Therefore, I, Sherman Guyton, Mayor of the City of Gadsden, by virtue of the authority vested in me, do hereby proclaim May as Foster Care Month in Gadsden, Alabama, and urge all citizens to come forward and do something positive that will help change a lifetime for children and youth in foster care.
I would like to say that we've lived here 23 years, and I've never felt the spirit of Gadsden to be more progressive, and I thank everyone who has an input and who's working so diligently. From even like on our road, I was noticing when they picked up the trash, couple about cans fell off on the side. The gentleman stops, goes around, gets it, puts it back, and I said, it's a spirit of excellence, and I'm seeing that more and more in Gadsden, a progressive spirit. In foster care, we don't emphasize the negative, we emphasize the positive. And I'll tell you a couple of quick examples. One is a young man who is now in care, and that child, from his profile, before he came to us, he was locked in a room with his siblings, and they took the food. The mother would open the door, from what the profile said, and threw the food into the room and locked it again. That child is doing really well in a very short period of time. His grades, he's making really good grades. I've noticed his conduct report is an A, which that just really blesses me. There's another child that was thrown out of a window of a moving car. Now, how does that happen? It happens because your mother's on meth. And that mother, we got a call saying, can you take a child who is 5 years old and was thrown out of the window of a moving car? It really happened. And they have a 3-year-old little brother. I can say to this day, someone right here in this county has adopted those children, and they're doing well. They came to visit us recently. They're doing really well. Another young man who he went through quite some difficult times, he and his siblings. That young man now wants to become a youth minister and is moving very well into that arena. We have another young lady who is becoming a physician's assistant. From what she came out of in her family, she had a lot of problems, but she was determined that she was going to take advantage of what could be her education, and a physician was so impressed with her and her determination and her drive that physician is now going to help her achieve her goal. One last thing, I'm sorry. There's a man here, his name's Curly DeRamus. He happened to walk in, had no idea who's going to be here. His sister was one of our very most active foster parents, and he and his wife have adopted 6 children, and those children are doing well, and he happens to be back there. So thank you, everyone. We need foster parents. This past year, the need for foster parents the foster parents only rose 4%, but the need for homes rose 67%. So if you know good parents like Curly DeRamus and his wife, let us know. Thank you so much.
Yeah, there's more and more people having children and less people taking care of them. And if you don't get out and get around to neighborhoods, it's not only here in Etowah County, it's nationwide. But if you don't get out and get involved in some groups, I like to those on Channel 99 too, look at some different groups that are doing things and get to be part of it, because volunteering is one of the best things we can do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. 9, no, you don't have any unfinished business. 9 through 14, this is a time and place as advertised to conduct public hearings, allowing anyone to speak in opposition to or in favor of resolutions assessing nuisance abatement liens against property. This is for grass cutting. It has already been performed. We have 6 locations. I'm going to read the addresses and names, and anyone who wishes to speak about any of these may come forward. Number 9 is 511 Allen Street in District 1, $196. The estate of Alfonso J. and Geraldine Bothwell. 1612 Baker Street is in District 1, $151. Ernesto Johnson. 505 North 9th Street in District 3, $211. Linda Gale Howard. 319 and 321 8th Street in District 4, $151 each. James K. Stanley. 628 Broad Street, rear, District 5, $201. Eric and Chris Richards. Is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition to any of these resolutions? Does anyone wish to speak in favor of? You need to come forward to the microphone, please.
Mr. President, he's here to not speak against it, but to not speak in favor of it either, but not speak against, but to get clarification to find out how he can settle the lien.
Okay.
And that's on 511 Allen Street. That's all. Well, Ivor, does he just need to, after this meeting, go see Brian, or does he go see?
I believe John Ashley would probably be the person to see, because these are in regard to grass cutting.
Okay,
John.
I'll track him down. I'll get with you after the meeting, sir.
okay, thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak either in opposition or in favor of it? Chair will entertain a motion to adopt all 6 resolutions.
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt all 6 resolutions, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt all 6.
Our final public hearing is a resolution approving issuance of an alcoholic beverage license. Lunch and Dinner LLC, doing business as a Courtyard, has applied for a special retail liquor license for more than 30 days at 501 Broad Street. The new license is required due to new ownership. Is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition to this resolution? Is there anyone who would like to speak in favor of it? Chair will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
I see one of the owners in the audience, and we wish you the best. 16 is a resolution reappointing members to the Community Development Commission. This reappoints Bobby Davis and Mario Jackson for a term expiring March 30th, 2014, and Isola Layton for a term expiring March 30th, 2015. The chair will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
17 is a resolution reappointing members to the Zoning Board of Adjustment. This reappoints Jim Day and John Kay for terms expiring March 18th, 2014. Chair will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
That is John Key,
Key, what did I say?
K.
Well, I was close.
John knows who he is.
John knows.
John knows. John knows. Yeah.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Resolution leasing property at 109 9th Street South in Etowah County to the Etowah County Food Bank for $1 a year. The chair will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
19 is a resolution authorizing acquisition of property at 201 East Broad. The urban renewal and redevelopment and economic development for urban renewal. This property joins existing city property and will be beneficial for the economic development of the entire parcel located on Hood Avenue between East Broad and East Chestnut. Chair will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
New business, is there any new business?
I have one, Mr. President. I have Resolution 2011-181. It's authorizing grant application to Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation. Ask for unanimous consent to consider.
Second.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to consider the resolution today, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, consent has been granted.
Okay. Now ask for adoption.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Is there any other new business?
Yes, sir, Mr. President, I have one. It's an ordinance amending the fiscal year 2011 budget and authorizing TIF funds for acquisition of property in blighted or economically distressed area. I'd like to make a motion that we consider that today.
Second.
Clerk, take the vote.
Those in favor to consider the ordinance today, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, consent has been granted.
Move for adoption.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Yes, sir, just a little explanation as to what's behind this. Most people may know that the TIF stands for Tax Increment Financing, and we designate TIF districts in the city where we take the difference between the old tax income structure before a new business was brought in and the new tax income structure after a new business is brought in, and the difference can be used for economic development in that particular area. So that's what this is about, and this is actually accompanying Resolution 170 that was approved earlier. This is actually setting aside the funds to support that.
Is there any other discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the ordinance, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Is there any other new business?
Mr. President, I have two items, and I'd ask for unanimous consent. I have two items, and I'd ask for unanimous consent to consider both. One is repealing Section 8 of Resolution 46-04, providing short-term disability benefits, and the other one is authorizing a new short-term disability insurance policy. So I'd ask for unanimous consent to consider both.
Second. Clerk, you take the vote.
Those in favor to consider both resolutions today, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, consent has been granted.
Okay, the first one is repealing that section where let me just make a motion to, then we'll discuss it. Repealing Section 8, I ask for passage.
We had a second.
Okay, I did get the second then. Okay.
Okay.
Now the discussion. What we have here is a situation where employees who have been, quote, in the management area have been treated differently than employees who are not in the management area. And what happens is people who are in management go on short-term disability. They start getting paid in 7 days. People who are not in management went to 14 days. And so what we're doing now is equalizing this by doing away with that provision and making everybody go to 14 days, management and everybody else. So that's what this is all about. And the first one is repealing it, and then the second one will be setting up the 14-day short-term disability. So that's the end of that discussion. I ask for the vote.
Well, you got to ask for,
I made a motion, and
we got a second.
Bill seconded.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. President, one other thing to point out
there's more
is
discussion.
there's a net savings for the city. When we move to this.
I was going to talk about that in the other one, but go ahead.
Oh, well, that's okay.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, there's a net savings, so the moving to the new plan actually saves the city money, and it puts us in line with our carrier's book of business. The vast majority of those folks have moved to this type of plan. So it's a good move for the city.
Okay.
And now we take the vote.
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Okay, now that we've appealed it, then I want to put in a new one, and the new one is for 14 days with a maximum of 13 weeks, I believe it is. As Councilman Williams just said, I think we're going to, if this plan had been in place last year, we would have saved
About 17,000.
about $17,000. I was trying to find my paper here. About $17,000. So this will save us some funds by putting this in place. And as I said upstairs, this was not the Finance Committee's doing. This was the people in insurance and risk management, and her extension is 660. So if any management people is upset about being in this, please call 660 and not the council. Thank you.
Mr. President, this also levels it equalizes the weekly maximum benefit that can be paid to all union employees, all management, and all administrative employees. They will all be under the same policy, and the maximum will be $1,200 a week for everybody instead of $500 and total for the separates.
Extension 660. Okay.
Is there any other discussion? Clerk, you take the vote.
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Is there any other new business? Department reports, committees, board, Dickie Calhoun,
Dickie Calhoun.
the summer nutrition program.
Pass those around, please.
Okay.
I'll wait. My name is Vicki Calhoun, and I'm the coordinator for the summer nutrition program for the city of Gadsden. I've been doing it for the last 10 years, and I'm under the direction of Carrie Payne with the Parks and Recreation Center. Basically, what this program is, when school is let out, any child can go to any one of the 26 sites that are on the back of this flyer, and if they're 0 to 18 years old, they can eat at no cost. And we have 26 sites that are in all of your districts, and basically what I'm trying to do is to let you know which sites are in your district, so you can let the kids that are the adults to let their kids know what ages and stuff can come and eat and which sites to go. And we're going to start on June the 1st, run through August the 5th. And this program is vended. We have a contract with the City Board of Education that does our lunches. And the city is reimbursed 100% by the USDA through the State Department of Education. And we have received perfect audits for the last 10 years by the state auditors that come in and audit us. And there is a large amount of paperwork and monitoring of sites is involved. And we served last year for breakfast, lunch, and snacks in an 8-week period. We served 31,268 kids in the city of Gadsden. And what I'm trying to do is to make you aware of the sites that are in your district, because I don't feel like we're getting to all the kids that we need to get to. And if you would, I would appreciate if you could let your people in your district know. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Very good.
This next one is going to speak upstairs, but we've got time delayed, and so I'm going to let him speak now. Michael Hancock from Cobbler Festival. You still here?
Yeah, they're here.
Thank you. I'm not Michael Hancock. I'm better looking. Andre Patterson. This is Bob Roberts. We're part of the Knights of Columbus. And the Knights of Columbus, as you know, is a Catholic men's fraternity. And we are, we try to help the community. We help our church. We help the schools. We run we give money to the Catholic Center of Concern. We have a lot of fundraisers, and Bob's going to tell you about a fundraiser that we'd like to have and get the Gadsden City Council in on it. The Knights of Columbus was founded back in 1882 in order to help widows and orphans, and we have grown so much that we are able to branch out and just help everybody that we can. I was at a meeting last week with the bishop, and we're trying to get things going for our disaster relief efforts. We've got Knights helping in Albertville. We've got Knights working in Ohatchee, and one of our Knights is going up to Huntsville and helping out with this tornado relief. So I'm turning it over to Bob, and he'll tell you what we're planning.
Good morning. Thank you.
Good morning.
We are planning a festival for the city of Gadsden, August 26th and 27th in the Midtown Plaza, called the Gadsden Etowah County Cobbler Festival. We will have a cobbler bake-off. We will have a full-blown festival. We're anticipating in excess of 100 vendors. We're trying to schedule a carnival. We're going to have dinner on Friday evening with an auction and a silent auction and a live auction. We actually have acquired a 2011 Hyundai Accent two-door hatchback that we'll be raffling. And we are here today to ask the City Council to be a co-sponsor. We have been in long discussions with the Chamber of Commerce, and we have their support. They're going to work with us on entertainment and on just the physical ability to do this. We also need help with permitting and that kind of thing that the city will require. And we hope the city will help some of this by waiving some of the fees and helping us with the activities. We're hoping to have a pub, and we'll need an event permit for that. So we're hoping that we can bring in between 8,000 and 15,000 people in that two-day event to the city of Gadsden to spend money. So that's what we're here for this morning. Thank you.
Give us a location again. I didn't quite.
It's at the Gregerson's Plaza in Midtown on 3rd and Meegan.
Oh,
And the,
And we have been in discussions with Greg Gregerson there. We finalized it yesterday. The parking lot and the Old Food World has been given to us at no cost. He is going to be a corporate sponsor. So that has been locked into place.
What were those dates again?
August 26th and 27th will start on Friday, the 26th at 4 PM and go to 10, and Saturday would be 10 to 10. Thank you.
Thank you.
I've met with them, and they've got a great plan coming, and they're doing quite a bit of work. As a matter of fact, they've done quite a bit of work since we've met. And I've pretty much committed the city to work with them as much as we possibly can. So we appreciate you coming, and I'm going to ask that as the date gets closer, that we put the advertising up on our Channel 99 to help them out with some advertising and
That
some
would be
other
great.
things. But I would like for the council and the city to be a co-sponsor of this event. And they're going to try to make it an annual event.
We are. This will be the first annual, and it will be an ongoing event from here forth.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next is Nancy Gardner. Nancy's brought two of her strings people with her today, and they're going to, I hope, play us a little tune.
We're going to do something just a little bit different than we usually do. I just want to say, or we just want to say, thank you to each one of you for over the years helping us in the Gadsden City School System to fund our strings program and the fine arts program. You have been very supportive financially, and you've been very supportive encouraging us individually. And we have two students who are sort of our pride and joy this year who would like to play for you and also like to say their thank you. This is Allie Ajamoli and Zach. Brian, I have to put my glasses on because I'm going to tell you who their parents are.
Yeah.
Allie's the daughter of Gaith and Sherry Ajamoli, and she's been taking strings for 8 years in the Gadsden City System. Zach is one of our newcomers, and he did not come to the city until he was a sophomore in high school, and he is the son of Jim and Terry Brooks, so they're going to say thank you.
I'd like to thank you so much for offering the strings program. I can tell you right now, these two are my favorite teachers that I've had in the whole strings program. They've completely changed my life. Miss Shelton has inspired me to go into music, and because of her, I applied to her old alma mater, and I have a $40,000 scholarship to her school, just for music. So thank you so much for offering it. I really do appreciate it.
My daughter's in the strings program. Which school was that again? Absolutely, absolutely. I'm still looking for the school name. Oh, the scholarship.
Oh, Butler University, go Butler.
Butler, oh, okay, all right, that's all I need.
Though I'm not going into music, I'm going to pre-medicine at UAB. But anyway, I came to Gadsden City in 10th grade from Sardis High School, and we did not have a strings program. I was in the band, and I liked it all right, but when I got to Gadsden City, I was kind of overwhelmed with all the opportunities. And Allie was one of my friends before I moved there, so she encouraged me to do the strings. And I found that I really, really, really love to play the cello, and it's something that I want to continue throughout my life. So I want to thank you for supporting the school that got me started on what will be a lifelong hobby. Thank you.
Now they're going to play.
Yes. Thank you. Kept settling you guys down, so.
We don't realize how much discipline it takes to learn to play that well. Miss Shelton, she does a good job. She's been there, how long have you been doing this? From the beginning?
Ms. Martin's been here since the beginning I came.
Later.
That's Miss Gardner.
We started young. didn't we?
Well,
Oh, man.
that cello is what she teaches though. And she's a really concert cellist. I don't know how you say that, but it's what she is.
I was under the impression, and I was in Birmingham this past weekend with Leadership Alabama. We were talking about the orchestras and the symphony there in Birmingham. We have a number of people from Gadsden, I understand, that plays with them or participated and played with them, so.
Allie is in the new youth orchestra.
She's, okay, great. I mean, you know, we got a class act program here.
Absolutely.
When I mentioned that, like I said, we had leaders from all over the state, and they were saying, you mean the high school? I said, yeah, in the high school and the junior high school, and they thought, wow, you know, so.
How about the fifth grade?
That's what I'm saying, yeah, elementary, yeah.
They actually start in the fifth grade now. I did that on my fingers a while ago. Figured out she's a senior.
We actually, if you've been to some of the elementary schools, especially like on graduation day or parents' day or whatever, you'll be amazed at what all's going on at that level. Being an old sports person and coaching person, we always had in physical education about skills with a lifetime carryover. You know, everything in sports is not a team sport. You know, golf, there's some other issues there, but arts, any of the arts things, the music or painting, a lot of things in the arts are a lifetime carryover. You can do them at any age. And I think, like Bob was saying, studies show that kids that are in the arts program, they are better disciplined, make better grades, and have less problems. So the youth orchestra, let me say this, youth orchestra is, by the way, going to New York, I think in December, for a trip. They're going to play a couple of times with the dance conservatory here as Go in the ballet, and it's going to be a really good trip.
Yeah, they usually get a good trip every year.
Yeah.
I think he said it best when he said, I'm going into pre-med, but this will follow me all of my life.
That's right.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
All the years that I've sat here and we talked about strings and we put it in the budget, and now I know the value of it, that it brings it home when you see it.
It does.
What's coming up, the dedication and where they're going with it. I congratulate y'all, I really do. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Many of the pre-med people were thrilled to hear that he studied music when he told me he was going to pre-med.
Thank y'all for coming today.
Thank you.
Okay, next is Tommy Hudson.
I'd like to thank these two young adults for that wonderful introduction. Guys, I came and talked to y'all last year, and ladies, I came and talked to y'all about roadside spraying and how detrimental it was to the character of the neighborhoods and one thing and the next. And I don't know what to say, because now they came up and sprayed the street that I live on from one end to the other, Scenic Drive, and killed everything up and down the road. And it's just, and I mean, I thought, well, should I kept my mouth shut? Should I not said anything? And when I asked Ty Jackson, in charge of spraying and mowing, He told me that, he said, well, I said, I talked to the council, son. Did they not tell you? And he said, nobody told me. And I thought, well, you know, I don't know who to talk to. And it's not the council's fault, because I didn't understand the scope of operations of the council until I asked Iva yesterday, and she showed me what the council does, and it wasn't involved with this. But quickly, let me thank the council, and especially the mayor and the city clerk, for keeping the costs down and running a tight ship. Thank you. That being said, I went after they sprayed and things started dying, and sprayed several of my trees and killed them and all, and sprayed across my driveway. I thought, oh my God, no, not that. And so I went to, and I thought, well, what do I do? So I went and asked all the neighbors that I could catch out Saturday on the road, and here's a petition signed by everybody that I could catch out along the street up there. And I walked up and I said, I'm Tom Hudson. I'm getting a petition up to try to get the city to stop spraying the roadsides and start mowing. And everyone to the person said, give me that pen. Give me that pen. They hate it. Everybody hates it. And that being said, this is a wildflower catalog that I bought $750 worth of wildflower seeds from, pounds and pounds of wildflowers, and I planted along Scenic Drive. And my father, he's dead now, but he told me, he said, boy, if you lost your mind, you're going to plant $750 worth of wildflower seeds along the road? And I said, listen, I said, you know, the prettier it is up here, the more likely I am to sell property. And he said, well, all right, it's your money. Little did I know they'd all get poisoned down. You know, I had no idea that they'd all get poisoned down. But anyway, one year I put out 100 pounds of red clover, you know, and you just don't anticipate having somebody come up and spray the whole road on both sides. But that's what happened. That's what happened. And so I went and I got curious about it, and I thought, well, just where do they spray? Where do they spray? So I went and I got a map of the where they spray and all, you know, and I got the contract, thanks to Sherman. I appreciate it, Sherman. It's for helping me get this information, because I remember the last administration, you could have to blast it out with dynamite, and I appreciate it. But it's odd that all the spraying is done in the less affluent areas of the city. And I mean, and I'm not just, and so I got in my truck and I rode to Club View and Country Club and went all over everywhere, you know, up on Bellevue Drive and all, and I rode all over, you know. There wasn't one drop of spray anywhere in Country Club. They don't spray anything. But they spray in Alabama City, and they spray in East Gadsden, and they spray over in the green pastures area and all. Oh, they spray there, but they don't spray in Country Club. And I don't know who drew up the spray schedule right here, but if you don't believe it, go get it and look at it. There's no areas like Country Club. They don't get sprayed. I wonder why. Because I rode up in my truck, and there's bushes growing. It's 1/8 of a mile, 1/4 mile between houses, trees, shrubs hanging out in the road. They don't spray up there. Why do they spray in the less affluent areas? Could somebody tell me that? I don't know. That being said, I'd like to ask the question of the city attorney. Does a citizen who owns the right-of-way in front of their house, doesn't belong to them, it's a city right-of-way, do they have any rights, Roger, so far as what happens to their property?
Well, of course, it varies from what right-of-way there is and why the city has the right-of-way there. Some of it may be fee title, some of it may just be an easement to use for utilities and other things like that. Generally, the property owner is expected to maintain that property, even though it is right-of-way if it's in front of their house. So it's still your property unless there's a fee deed to the city.
Oh, so it actually belongs to me.
Right.
Well, now I called the spraying company, Edco, who the city entered a contract in, and he told me that, let's see, this is the exact quote on my answering machine. As per my conversation with Ty Jackson, He's told me not to worry about it. The city would handle the situation. So that means, now I'm telling you, that's what he told me, and it's, and then I got a message from Ted Capera on my, they called this morning, and his secretary told me that, listen, he said he called to someone in the city yesterday morning and said that, don't worry about it. The city was going to handle it. So what is the city going to do about 2 miles of scenic drive being poisoned and my $750 worth of wildflowers poisoned out?
Let me, after I talked with you yesterday, and I had this for you, but I got sidelined upstairs earlier. On the list and the map, the company, the paperwork they got from us, that street scenic was not on there. They sprayed that on their own.
By accident, that's correct.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Well, I guess it's by accident.
I guess it was, but they had a map and they had a list of all the streets, and scenic where Tommy lives was not on there, I can tell you. So, Roger, don't, how does that work exactly?
Oh, I'll tell you what Tommy's going to do. Tommy's going to get an attorney. I'll tell you what Tommy's going to do. But I mean, I just wanted to know if I actually own the property along the right-of-way. Because, you know, I had, you know, a good bit of it up and down the roads, you know. And I mean, they poisoned my trees and they poisoned everything.
Tommy, let me read this. I also had this for you right here too on the section 86.5, weeds and tall grass. It shall be the duty of the owner of any real property located within the city to maintain any grass or weeds growing upon such property in such a manner as not to constitute a nuisance. The duties and obligations of the owner extend and include any real property situated within the dedicated right-of-way or easement burdening the property, except to the extent that it may be impracticable to do so because of public facilities located thereon. Such rights-of-way and easements must be maintained by the owner in a manner consistent with the maintenance of the owner's remaining property and within the requirements in this chapter, except to the extent that it may be impracticable to do so because of public facilities. And then on section B, the public authority does not cut grass, weeds, or other growth upon rights-of-way or easements except to the extent necessary for operations and safety purposes. Now, I'm not an attorney. That's legalese to me. I'm not sure. I think, and Roger, I'll let Roger define that if he wants to.
I think it's saying what I said.
Yeah, that's what
It's basically you're responsible for keeping it up, and the city may cut some of it if it's necessary for site distances and traffic or for access to utilities and things like that.
Right. But spraying when they don't have the street on the list and a map showing all the places.
Is their responsibility.
They shouldn't have.
That's the way I look at it. I just wanted to
it.
make sure. One other quick thing. I asked Ty, he said, well, you don't understand. This is, they call it, when they spray, they call it the Bermuda Release Roadside Plan. And I said, well, son, I can understand the concept. You know, if you put Bermuda, it doesn't grow high like weeds, and you can probably mow it once a year, which is good for the city and good for the property owners. But where does the Bermuda seed come from? And he said, well, and I thought, well, so you spray it, but you don't plant any Bermuda. And, no. And I said, well, you know, that's a good concept, but
I think I'm gonna stop this right now as far as I'm concerned, because you've named twice. We don't do that, okay? The president should have told you that.
I didn't know. I like Ty.
Well,
He's a fine young man and hard worker.
Now, let me say this to you. You're a friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
But a minute ago, you've done that with Ty. And then you have said you're going to seek legal advice. So as far as I'm concerned, it's over. You are going to seek legal advice. We can talk about it all day long, but we would be a party to that lawsuit, which I think is up to you.
Okay.
But your talk ended right there. When you said you had legal advice, that cut it, okay?
Okay.
All right. So I think you could be excused on that. Mr. President, I'm asking that he be excused based on the legality that he's going to form and come back with.
I think he said he was going to get advice. I don't think he got it.
He got it. He just said he was going to.
I think you're about through anyway, weren't you, Tommy?
I'm about through anyway.
You're going to allow him to carry on?
Well, I think he's through.
Well, that's what I said. He's through. I'm asking that he's through.
Roger,
I think we
Roger.
got the gist of it.
Roger.
I think we've had it.
Roger,
The
please
city
run it
didn't
over, man.
authorize any spraying up
That's right.
there. It was done by error, by a company, error. The city has no liability whatsoever.
I'm agreeing with you. I was just, all I know is.
And I don't blame you for pursuing this.
No, I don't either, but it's a legal question. It has to be determined between him and that contractor. And as far as I'm concerned, it's over. Between us, we have nothing in it anyway.
True.
Now, I'm
Roger.
asking for that, Mr. President. It's
Well,
over.
I'm asking Roger to tell me whether you're right or not.
I mean, it's the pleasure of the council, if you allow him to speak, if the council wishes to let him continue, you can certainly do that, if the council wishes that he stop.
Well, then I asked it again.
I think he's exceeded his 5 minutes anyway.
Well-
When we got the gist of what you're saying, Tommy,
You're there.
Guys, all I want's the best for the city and me.
I know.
That's all I want. I just,
Tommy might be through, but I'm not. So, I got a question about that list of streets that's being sprayed, and it ain't being sprayed in Country Club. I want to know who got the list up,
I do too.
and why is it that low income and less affluent areas are being sprayed, and not everybody? I can't even get grass cut on 8th Street. I'd accept the spray at this point. It looks so bad. I mean, it's crazy.
Fortunately, Robert, in the more affluent areas, they're able to keep up and do their own mowing.
Tommy able to keep up. He's
Well,
a developer.
Well, I'm
But
not
they sprayed
saying-
his area.
I'm not saying that they don't, I don't know why they spray at all, as far as I'm concerned.
The city sprays, the city mows Country Club. That's what they do. It's not the citizens. The city mows it, and they get mowed about once every 2 weeks.
I like to ask the administration to get me a copy of the contract, because I'm not aware of the contract.
It's in there. It's all, when I talked to him yesterday, I got
You
all
pull
that.
all of that? I'd
All the
like to know-
contracts in there, streets, map, everything.
I'd like to know, don't the council have the authority to change that and do some of this? Is this about ordinance, about resolution? If it's a contract, we had to approve it. So we need to do something about that. I'm sorry.
It was just a provision in that bid, or what the contractor was told to do.
I understand that. Can't we change it? Okay. And I'd like for all the council members to get a copy of this so we can go over this and look at this and see why certain streets are being sprayed and certain streets are not being sprayed, and let's just deal with that issue. I think that would settle that. Okay.
Okay, where were we?
Next person. We got one more.
You got Mr. Avery.
Okay, Bill Avery. Amending Section 6-49B of the City Code regarding location restriction of alcoholic beverage license.
You want to tell me you got 5 minutes?
You got 5 minutes.
Now I'm gonna sing my way out this. I gotta get y'all back in a good mood. Y'all in the wrong bad mood now. Well, my name is Bill Avery. I'm a recording artist, and I came here to, because my license was turned down on my liquor license on Tuscaloosa Avenue last week because of the footage. I had a total of 288 feet prior to 300-foot ordinance. And I had the zoning people to go back, ask them would they go back out and remeasure it. Because it looked like it was longer than that. So they went back out and remeasured, and it was 325 foot. Then I say, well, why didn't I get my license? He said, well, the city ordinance said you gotta be there. I said, well, how did y'all measure? They said, well, the rules say you measure from point to point. I said, what point? So how do y'all get 325 foot? And then the first time was 288, now you got 325, so we went door to door. So I'm kind of confused because that's why I say the ordinance is about 30 years old, you know what I mean? And I'm not up here to try to change the 300 foot from the church, which I know there's churches all over Gadsden, downtown. They changed the ordinance, and they got nightclubs, right behind the churches. So I can understand the ordinance. Down on the other part of town is a different thing, you know what I mean? So If it's blue downtown, it should be blue, you know what I mean, on the strip, the same way down where I am. So I'm looking at the church, not the artists. I'm looking at the church. Y'all say the church and school. So what's the difference in the church downtown and the church on the other end of the street, somewhere else? If it's, this church downtown is 2 feet from the church, and on the other side of town, the person want to open up a bar and the church is 208 feet from the thing, they turn it down. But they say, well, it's an ordinance. They say, we got an ordinance where they can, so if that's the case, I'm looking at, it's something like, what's different? I mean, what different in a church and a church? So if you're going to do it, why not, I'm asking the council, would y'all consider try to change from point to point on the ordinance to door to door? You know, give a person a chance, because I know Councilman Stewart say somebody in his district lost, couldn't get their business open because they was 8 feet short. And they passed all the primary things they need to do to get their liquor license. I passed everything. I didn't fail my license because of, I failed because of footage. So I feel like give a person a chance, you know what I mean, measure from door to door instead of from a point to point, because a point could be anywhere. Whoever go out there and measure, just like they did mine. When I measured one time, it was 288. Then went out and measured again, it was 325. So all I ask is just be fair. That's all I ask. I mean, not trying to change it from 300 foot. Just be fair. That's all I ask. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think the ordinance says from the corner of the building to the corner of the building, and I understand that, Mr. Avery, I'm pretty much set on the 300 feet, but, you know, if the council wants to look at door to door, I would be, wouldn't be opposed to that too much.
I'm set on 300 feet. There's no way. Let me say, I agree with you. I think we owe that much to the churches in our city. And having looked at a lot of different setbacks and variances and ordinances in a lot of cities over the past week, 300 feet is generous when we look at some of the areas, because some have 500 feet, some have 700 feet. There are only one or two that has 250 feet. 300 seems to be the norm, but there are some with 500 and 700. I understand Mr. Avery's concern. I do. I truly do. If this council wants to make an exception, we will not do that. If this council wants to go change the ordinance to measure door to door, I think there would be more reception to that, but under no circumstances are we intending to disallow this ordinance to exist in the city of Gadsden.
You know, then I think I need to bring back up, if we're going to go on those premises, and since I voted on the prevailing side, I'd like to bring back up the courtyard liquor license, because they're less than 300 feet from the church. And based on what you just said, we need to vote that down.
They're going to be four, and you win.
Well,
you
that ain't what he
have
said.
a different
No,
zone.
no.
That ain't what he said.
I did not say anything about courtyard.
No, what you said, listen, let me finish.
Okay.
Let me finish. And it's on tape. What he said was he wanted to protect churches. He didn't say B4 zoning, B1 zoning, or no kind of zoning. He said he wanted to protect the church, the integrity of the church. I do too. So based on that, then let's go back, regardless of the zone, because he didn't say anything about the zone. So
Mr. Avery, my reference was to the way that the ordinances are written now. And it doesn't say anything about B4s, anything. I'm talking about the way the ordinance is written now. That's all I said. Now, I'm for protecting the churches, and I said 300 feet, 500 feet. I did not say whether it doesn't make a difference whether you're in a B4 or B1 or any other zone. If you're in a different zone, obviously you have a different, you're handled differently in the ordinance. You don't have the same provisions for someone in B4 that you do in a residential area. So let me make that perfectly clear, what I said.
Make it clear.
I made it clear
you're
that...
still saying that you want to protect churches.
And the way the ordinance is written, I said we will not, the way the ordinance is written now, we will not change it from 300 feet. I said we would be glad to go back and look at measuring from door to door, which you do not have in the B4 zone.
What do you have in the B4 zone?
Well, ask Roger. He's the city attorney.
There is not a restriction on location in B4.
That's right.
So in other words, it can be next door to the church?
Yes, sir.
That's right.
So my question then, what's the difference in a B4 and a B2 or a B3 or B1?
We
If you want to, wait a minute, if you want to protect the integrity of a church, what's the difference? I know it's the zoning, but why you want to specify a B4 and not a B2 and a B3? That's my question.
We have zoning laws to regulate what businesses can be in what zones, so you don't have an industry in the middle of a residential area.
I understand that.
That's the reason for zoning our city the way it's zoned. And that's the zoning law in a B4, that's the way it applies. So that's just a zoning law.
I understand
We do
the
that
zoning
to
law.
protect.
But I thought we were here talking about protecting churches and not protecting zonings. I agree that we got different zonings for different reasons.
Well,
We
you
don't
want to go
a
back and
business.
change the B4 laws, is that
No,
what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that. That's what he said.
I have not mentioned a zoning law until it was brought up. I did not say. I said the ordinance that we have in effect now.
But you
My
said-
reference was to the ordinance.
I understand
Period.
that, but you also-
Now, whatever the ordinance says is B4 is covered in the ordinance.
But you also said, and I quote, and I'll get, and you can, people in the audience, and when you go back home, you can listen to it. When you first spoke up, you said that you wanted to protect the integrity of the churches, and you didn't want to change it.
Well, we were speaking strictly in this zone that we're talking about now.
Well, he didn't say that at first.
I want to
understand.
go on record, I want to agree with Mr. Harris totally in what he's saying, because each ordinance does specify the zone that we're talking about.
That's right.
And
I
I
agree with
think
Mr.
ultimately,
Harris.
I think that's what he was trying to say, even to start with, and he clarified it later on. B4, different. B1, B2, so on and so forth. But I want to go on record as totally agreeing with what you said. I think you said it very
I
well.
am opposed to making any exceptions, start making exceptions. If you want to change the law, then that's another thing. If you want to change the ordinance, that's another thing. But I'm not for making, cherry picking and start making exceptions to the ordinance. I don't think that's a good idea at
Well,
all.
we made an exception when we let it in
Well, now,
B4.
you implied we made exceptions before.
And we did.
Have we?
Yes, sir, we have.
Did anybody ever find where we'd made an exception?
Yes, sir. There used to be I'm sorry, so what? Okay, there used to be a club on the corner of 10th and Tuscaloosa, right across the street from the church. There used to be a club on the corner of Henry and Tuscaloosa, right across from Head Start. There is one now on the corner of 9th and Tuscaloosa, around the corner from Head Start.
Were they there before the church came? You know, you got to look at that.
Yes, sir. The church was there, and these buildings and the clubs came after the church. Mount Sinai Church has been there for umpteen-hundred years, and the clubs and everything have come since then. Head Start was there prior to the club on the corner of Henry and Tuscaloosa Avenue, and the one on 9th and Tuscaloosa Avenue. There's several others, but I'm just talking about in my district. I know what happened in my district. I don't know what happened in others. I do too. But at any rate, the bottom line
I
is.
believe those date back before I was on the council. 'Cause
Well, you asked me and I'm telling you what has happened since I've been on the council.
Okay.
Okay.
Were they I'm going to ask this because I remember where you were on Henry and 9th. Were those licensed clubs?
Yes,
in
sir.
the city of Gadsden?
They were
had a
licensed by the city of
liquor
Gadsden.
license.
Yes, sir.
That old house that's right there on the corner.
Which house?
It's right across from Head Start. I mean.
No,
yeah, Head
I'm
Start.
talking about where the radio station is. Mr. Floyd Donald
Yeah.
radio station had a nightclub in there with liquor license.
I'm sorry.
May I ask
Am
still
I
don't
right,
remember
Roger?
that. I've only been around.
Oh, you
since
didn't go,
94.
you didn't go over there and drink with us?
Mayor, I'd like to, I want to ask this question also. As a council, before now, before this last situation arose, as a council, whenever a situation has been presented to the council for an application of a liquor license, has this council ever sat here and said, the restriction is 300 feet, but we're going to make an exception?
No.
And give them a license?
Not since I've been on the council.
What information have you based your decision on?
from the door-to-door.
What information have you based your decision on?
Personal experience, and we asked the city attorney, and he
City
said he
attorney.
did not know. So,
The police chief, am I right? The police chief, the building department who goes out and take the measurement, and if they are not within those limits, then they are the ones that bring that information back. Nobody has come back and said, except this one case that I'm aware of, the building department has not come back and said, well, you cannot permit them a license because they are within 300 feet from the church if they are in that area. Now, am I correct? You're relying on the information that was presented to the council to make a decision. The information that you got came from the departments who are responsible for making those decisions and making those measurements and presenting it back to you so you can make a decision and say yes or no. Am I correct?
that's correct.
Am I correct?
You're correct.
So the decision that you made was not, you have not sat here and made a decision to make an exception.
Not since '94.
We have 4 categories that we look at when we grant these licenses. One is the building department, the other one is zoning, and the other one is the police background check, and what's the other? The building department. And the fire department. Those are the things that approve them before we approve them. Or if they disapprove them, then we take a real hard look at what's going on.
Well, I'm not mistaken, I think the state also looks into it if we made something like that. ABI.
I don't know. We've denied.
ABC board.
We've denied several licenses here, and people have gone to the state and got them approved, so that has happened too, so. Okay.
But they proved that they were legal by our ordinance and able to do that.
I'm just telling you that we've denied license and people have gone to the state to get them approved. That's all I said.
And that's part of the legal process, you know. It's not our decision.
Yeah.
You can also appeal our decision to the circuit court also, can't you?
You can go to, Mr. Avery can go to the ABC board and apply, and they might grant it over our objection.
Can I say something, please, before I close the door with?
Board.
ABC board, I want to talk to them. They said, y'all, the ordinance that y'all made, I have to go with it because I passed them. And they said, I have to go to the city council.
Oh, that's correct.
And they can prove it if they want to. So, only thing I'm saying, and I say it again, I'm sitting there listening to y'all arguing, bickering about nothing. You know what I mean? That's all you're doing, bickering about nothing.
Mr. President.
That's not true.
Let me finish what I'm saying. I'm sorry, but all I want to do, is try to get the footage. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, you're out of order.
I'm sorry.
But he's right, we are arguing about nothing.
Yeah, because we got ordinances on the board.
If his name was Wright or Williams or Smith, he would have had his license.
No, I don't know. That's not right, Robert.
Why don't?
If he was,
Make a-
he was
Okay,
over 300 feet, he had his
that's
license.
enough.
Make a motion, we move on.
We have remarks by the mayor of the council. Mayor, you want to start?
I'm speechless, I'll pass.
Billy?
No comment.
Go ahead.
All right. Thank you, Mr. President. I do want to ask the council that we use better judgment going forward in terms of where we conduct our discourse and discussion. This conversation could have very easily been held somewhere else. So I'll leave it at that.
Not when you're showboating. Moving right along.
So the council discussed and the personnel department talked some today about the youth jobs program. So we've moved towards actually giving that some formalized structure, and more information will come going forward. But again, we've moved towards giving that some formalized structure. We've asked that there be some level of formalized rollout, so those people who have yet to submit applications will have an opportunity or a window to do that. So again, the council, and in conjunction with the mayor and department heads, are moving towards making that a reality for the summer. But some details are still yet to be ironed out, but again, we are moving towards that. So those who are interested should be on the lookout for information relative to how to apply. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. President. I was shocked to hear that statistics about Etowah County being the second most abused elderly county in the state of Alabama. That's real shocking. As you know, our family has had an abuse case coming in, and it was young people. You think about abuse being young folk and middle-aged couples and stuff like that, but the abuse to the elderly, I mean, we definitely can't tolerate that. And being the second most populous area in the state that's doing that, I would ask folks to start looking in on the elderly and monitoring their neighbors and be a nosy neighbor and find out if that's going on in your community. We need to report all of that. We need to stop all of that. That's just uncalled for. I will have my district meeting this Saturday at 10 a.m. at the Carver Community Center. So please, ma'am, and please, sir, be advised, and we asked everybody to come out.
I'm just glad that May is recognized, we're recognizing May as elderly people. Thank you for that. And I have been abused many times. So appreciate you recognizing that. I just want to say that over the years that we have had threats of losing our strings program in our schools, and it's been a struggle over the years, but you see how important it is and how well it pays off for the young people. So I'll always support that spring program. It's a great thing for our schools.
Sure.
That's all I have to say.
Okay.
Ben?
Along those lines, a momentous occasion happened May 17th, 1958. That's when my wife and I were married, so that means today is our anniversary.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm not saying that we've been married 53 years because it might give Barbara's age away. But anyway, I want to go on record that I have not been abused, nor have I abused.
He told me earlier he'd been married 53 years, 10 of them pretty happy.
Barbara said it was long, hard, miserable years. But we're still together, and I think we're going to make it all the way to the end. So I appreciate it. Thank you, Barbara.
Okay. You're welcome. I'll entertain a motion, we adjourn.
Amen. Amen.